Good morning, it's your man Earl, and today is day 125 on the calendar, FSQ 49, and we're up early. The house is still quiet, and we were set to take off on a business trip today. And I get there, and there are no cars, no rent-a-cars, and so we're uh, still here. So, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and do our video from our normal place in our home office. Once again, today is day 125 on the calendar, FSQ 49, and we have been looking at Ecclesiastes, or Ecclesiastes. Some people call it Ecclesiastes the last couple of days, and it's been heavy. And so we're looking at chapter 3 today, the practical idea. And just so you guys know, I'm an avid reader. You guys know I read 50 books a year. That's my goal. And we're in Ecclesiastes, and it has just been speaking to me. And we're looking at today that God is a God of order. So I have to accept that there are no cars today. There is a greater purpose that there's no cars at the rent-a-car place. And here's what's interesting. The guy said that it is slow, but there's no cars. So I have to accept that God is a God of order. We're in chapter 3, by the way, of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3. God is a God of order. And I just want to kind of read some things, but chapter 3 in Ecclesiastes is famous for there's a time and a place for everything. Time to plant, time to pluck up, time to cast away stones, time to rend, time to sow. Look at this one. We put in a lot of work. We're in chapter 9, verse 9 through 14. Man working. We put in a lot of work, yet we're still ignorant to a certain degree. But watch this. While we work, we are ignorant to a large part to God's total design. And that's not a bad thing because we're not God. Yet we are fulfilling some sort of divine design that God has for us. And let me encourage you, that's why we should be aiming for uprightness, to be right with God. Remember, we're Old Testament, so we're not talking about righteousness. We're talking about aiming for being upright. Like he's an upright man, meaning he's standing upright towards God, right? Versus the New Testament, he's a righteous man, meaning he is in right standing with God through the Son, Yeshua Messiah. So then look at, talks about his prophet and how we should treat that prophet. Still through 9 through 14. So I challenge you as we look at chapter 3 in Ecclesiastes, a time and a place, looking at our prophet, understanding that we don't know everything necessarily what God is doing within the framework of our work, but we must trust and believe that God has a divine design and he is a God of order, and our responsibility is to trust that order. Yes, we wrestle against God's purposes in our life. We know that because sometimes we don't see the big picture. We don't necessarily understand everything that God is doing right now in our lives. But our goal is to trust him. Trust God's purpose, his grand purpose. He has immeasurable wisdom in all things. God is a God of order. And we should be trying to grab hold of that order and live in that order and apply that order in our lives, even when things don't necessarily pan out the way that we want. Like I was fully prepared to take off today on our business trip, and everybody, me and the CEO, we were ready to roll, and no car. That's okay, because he said come back tomorrow, and we'll get you a car, and we'll go from there. Well, matter of fact, he said come back later today, but for sure tomorrow. So Lord willing, we'll go back tomorrow, and we'll get a car. We'll have a car, and we'll be getting ready to take off on our business trip. So with that being said, today's day 125, FSQ 49, federal self-quarantine. We're still limited business, and don't be upset. Just appreciate what God is doing in your life. Remember, God is a God of order. God bless you. God keep you. We'll catch you tomorrow, most likely in transit. So God bless you. God keep you. Peace.